And we are live, but not on the Icecast Live as I normally would say, because this afternoon, we have a bonus little live stream, and I am joined this afternoon by the writer and co-creator of Hedrek, one Mr. Professor Laurence Alison. How you doing,
Hello,
Laurence?
I'm good. How are you? You're right.
Oh, yeah, very good, thank you. It's a nice, it's actually quite sunny here.
Yeah,
Like
not too
it's a
bad.
sunny morning.
Yeah,
It's all
not
right
too
there.
bad. Perfectly acceptable. Yeah.
Now, this morning, I keep saying this morning, this afternoon, we're going to be joined by David, the artist, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him for a while. I think he's probably struggling to sort of get himself online, so he might not be joining us this morning, but the two of us will manage. It's only going to be a short stream, folks. We just want to talk to you about Hedrek and a little bit of a competition we've got going, which you might have read about, which is to win this beautiful artwork in the background. I don't know if you can see it, but I have posted it on the main Hedrek site and on my wall. It's a beautifully painted piece of art, full A4 size by David Hitchcock, and it's up for grabs to every backer at a physical level on the campaign. Now, some people may or may not know we are currently running a Kickstarter for Hedrek #2, which is entitled "The Axe Forgets," and you can win this beautiful artwork just by pledging for a copy. So Laurence, little question. We talked about it a little bit when we were coming up with the second issue. But do you want to tell the viewers a little bit about behind the title of the second issue, "The Axe Forgets," and what it sort of means?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an old proverb, basically, that the axe which is responsible for cutting the trees down is so used to hacking these things down that it forgets how many it's done and what damage it's inflicted. But the tree, of course, each individual tree remembers. So as we move into issue 2, there are some key characters that have undergone some traumatic incidents that are seeking revenge, and they are part of this movement of mummers, potentially under the direction of Momus, one of our key sort of figures in issue 1 that is referred to but revealed in issue 2. And yeah, it's about their revenge basically on those authority figures. And as you know, anyone that picked up a copy of issue 1 will know that Hedrek issue 1 touches on this idea of the mummers, this group of strange individuals that seem to be getting their own back on politicians and people in power and so forth and so on. And Hedrek, our key guy, our detective, is investigating these seemingly low-level attacks that are gradually escalating issue by issue. So yeah, issue 2 revealed Momus is.
And morally, the story isn't clear cut, is it? I mean, now I've read issue 1 a few times. I've read issue 2 a few times, and something that comes across to me is that this is not an area of black and white. There are a lot of grey areas morally, both on both sides of the of the story, on the police and also especially on the side of the mummers. They're not completely bad guys, are they?
No, there's, I think the more I started writing their journey, the more sympathetic I felt towards them. And in the current climate, I think it's probably got even more sort of pertinent and relevant. I mean, the only real figure in our story that is navigating this complex path, of course, is Hedrek himself, who, doesn't deviate from a path of integrity, and he might struggle with some of the things that he's expected to do, but in terms of even-mindedness, fairness, and so on. I mean, I see Hedrek as being one of these characters that understands why someone does something awful, but at the end of the day, if you've done it, you owe the debt. You will pay the debt. You might have understanding, compassion, and curiosity about what has led them there, and compassion and understanding for it. But that said, he's got a job to do, and he does it. So, but yeah, you're right. The mummer story gets increasingly more morally ambiguous, complex, and nuanced, I think. So
yeah. I like that as well. I mean, I really do enjoy more sort of ambiguous moral ambiguity in stories. I think when the reader can sort of make their own decisions about which characters they agree with or don't agree with, I think it's a lot more compelling, isn't it?
Well, that's it, and there's some more characters that are added. There are characters that we saw in last issue that will be followed up, and each issue takes a slightly different theme. Certainly bigger on scale in this one, a wee bit more action in this one, and yeah, lots more going on. And then on the last page, there's a nice smash in your face reveal, which is, oh shit, okay, issue 3 is going to get bigger still. So yeah, it's intriguing. It's gathering pace, and the storm is gathering.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And like you said just then, I mean, the action really does heat up in this one, doesn't it? I mean, it's so fast paced. I mean, when I read through the book, it was like, whoa, boom, boom, boom. You really managed to sort of capture the movement of the story. And did you find it hard to sort of keep it down to that many pages? Did you have to sort of remove things to keep that pace up?
I think, everyone tells stories different ways. I think I probably said this in the last podcast. I always want things moving. I want, at the end of each page, the reader to think, I need to turn over the next page and find out what's happened. So yeah, lean. I think being lean with things and just moving the plot forward is important. So yeah, that's what I had in mind. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it, rocking and rolling and cram it all in. So yeah. I mean, by the time we get to issue 4, we'll have about 100 pages roughly, and a hell of a lot is going to happen. So, but certainly this one, there's more. I think David wanted to kill me after he'd read the issue, because it's. I think it is David's block mania, Mick McMahon's block mania. There's so many people in it, so many characters, riots, police officers, riot shields. God knows what's going on. So I mean, it's a wonderful, absolutely superlative double-page spread that David's done, which should be the centre page. I think they're going to work out as the centre pages, which is just phenomenal. We got helicopters in it, riot squads, police cars, stuff on fire all over the place, hundreds of mummers running around. It's just insane. And I think he did that extra large size. So at some point maybe we'll offer that as a sort of.
It's a beautiful page. It really is, and it's just and the detail in it, And when I say detail, I don't mean noodling, superfluous detail. It's all part of the storytelling. Like no detail in that image isn't part of the story.
There's a couple of things that I wrote in as well that will be relevant to the next issue. So key characters that are running off that are specifically, everything's been well thought through. It's all sort of locked in. But yeah, as well as that page, there's some other absolutely phenomenal bits of storytelling and wonderful, beautiful, symbolically rich pages throughout. So it's an absolute corker. And of course, on the Kickstarter, folks can get pages from issue 1 now that we couldn't reveal as part of the first issue of the Kickstarter, because some of them were big splash pages that were reveal pages. But there's some great work available,
I mean, that was the thing. I mean, it would have been nice to sort of show the pages when we were selling them at the last Kickstarter, but it would have totally given away the story, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, that one of Father Christmas and Johnny Jack is an absolute stormer. So someone should they're crazy if they don't pick that up for the price that it is. It's a phenomenal page, and and there are other great pages in there as well. I think the last page is available as well, and of course the cover is available. Cover to issue 2 is a phenomenal cover, beautiful,
it really is,
rich red. Powerful cover. So there's some terrific stuff for folk if they want to get their hands on it.
Yeah, we'll be adding that on just after this stream. Actually, the cover, we'll be offering that. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece of artwork, and so are the originals. And if anyone watching, wonders where to go, if you just go to Kickstarter and put in Hedrek, that's HEDREK, not IK. You'll be able to get on there and just get any artwork you like, and it is going for a really low price at the moment, so that's a great time to go for it. How did you feel, Laurence? I have to ask. How did you feel when you saw that the new Star Wars series had stolen your title?
Oh yeah, well, very annoyed. Yeah, I know that, and I haven't seen it actually. But
haven't you? I was going to ask you what you thought of Andor, actually.
Yeah, so Shane texted me and said that the title was the same title as issue 2, but I think we had the same sort of issue with issue 1, because Inside Number 9 on a John Barleycorn story about 2 weeks after we'd released the Kickstarter on issue 1. So yeah, we're ahead of the curve, Shane. Ahead of the curve here at Scratch.
That's what it is. We're trendsetters. Yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
So I'm going to try and share the screen now, so we can actually have a look at the Kickstarter, and we can go through some of the things that are on offer for people. Let's have a look. So there we go. So that should be working now. Yes. So I'm going to just go to the top. So there we are. That you can see a little bit of the cover there, which is on the title. Now I don't know if I can actually play this video, so I'm going to try and see if it works and see how we get on. And we did actually get a little glimpse there, didn't we? Did that play all right your end, Laurence?
Yeah, it played okay. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it
Great.
did play well. Yeah.
So yeah, we got a little glimpse there of issue 2, and I love that shot of Hedrek smashing through the window with using his jacket to. Yeah, that's just such a great action shot. That, I mean, Dave really does capture those moments really well.
Yeah, great stuff.
We also got that little glimpse of the riot scene as well.
Yeah,
at the end.
That's not actually the splash page, that one though. That's
no
the splash panel just before the splash page, and then
that's it.
Full horror is revealed on the next page, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, I didn't want to spoil that one. It's just
exactly. Yeah.
You got to pick it up for that one. So we have got a little bit of way to go. We've got 11 days, but we do need some more backers. So if you're watching and you like the look of the comic, then please do drop us a back. So just to go through what some of the things you can get. Obviously, you can get the digital edition, the printed book, and you can get the alternative cover as well by Jimmy Broxton. I'm just going to flick down to that. Now we can only show the top half because it is a little bit not safe for work, as they say.
I was shocked when Shane showed me this the first time. There was I don't know how much we could say about this. There was another little piece revealed in Jimmy's original version that I think Jimmy edited out. I don't know. Is it a digital version or?
Well, he partially works digitally. I mean, this is hand drawn, but obviously you can make changes digitally, and he did make a slight change digitally.
I remember Shane sending a copy of this just over Messenger. I was like, Jesus Christ, okay. But, I mean, it's a fantastic bit of draftsmanship. It's a very specific bit of work, but it's a great cover. I mean, but as I say, even I was a little bit shocked by the original version of it. But there's been a little bit of digital work on it as well, so not too offensive. But yeah, I mean, Jimmy's figure work, the composition, it's wonderful. And so different to David's stuff as well. So, it's really and
I thought that was nice. I thought that was nice as well, having something a little bit different to what is on the inside.
Certainly a little bit different. Yeah, that's for sure. But you know what? I mean, as with a lot of Jimmy's stuff, it's controversial, it's provocative, but man, it's the women that are in charge in this picture. So it's an interesting. And
that was the message, really, wasn't it? It was it's trying to convey, really, is that these ladies are in control, as it were.
Yeah.
So that's a great cover, and that's on offer on the Kickstarter. And what else have we got? And you can get combinations, so you can get, like here, you can get the standard edition and a back issue. So you can still get issue 1 with with issue 2, which is great for people who are just getting on board.
I have a sketch cover of issue 1 that I haven't done. There's one left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just one left.
Ah. And there's one there. You can get issue 2. You can get both versions. If you're a completist and you want to get both versions of the book, you can do. And the lucky deck reward. Now that's something I wanted to talk about because this is really cool. Can you tell people, Laurence, a little bit about this?
Yeah, so Gabby Noble had done, I think, 4 tarot cards for issue 1, which were available. And I thought, well, look, let's go to town on this and have a full deck that can be read. And I mean, I've always been quite interested in the tarot anyway, not because I think it has any particular supernatural power, but as a device for thinking symbolically about how to behave and how to think about things. I think it's interesting. And I mean, there's so many characters in Hedrek. So I decided, probably slightly foolishly, that I would write a full 20 card deck, which actually is the written account of each tarot card is in the back material of issue 2. So backers don't necessarily need to buy the full deck to get the issue. But that said, we are offering a proper full deck here of 20 cards exquisitely drawn by Gabby. So, I mean, there are characters that people will be familiar with if they've read issue 1. There are some new characters introduced in issue 2. And actually in the full deck, which is on offer here as the lucky deck reward, all 20 cards are available with full readings for each card and how to use the deck. And they're absolutely beautiful. I mean, the design work on it is phenomenal. You get not only do you get the 20 cards, but you get a positive and negative version of the card. So what's so clever about how Gabby's drawn this is that they look, not only do you get the character right way up and upside down, but you actually get the flip version of it. So you get the what I call dark night and day versions of the card. So there are several ways to read the cards, but it's a fantastic little deck. And the full thing is written up in the back material and available as part of the lucky deck reward. So there's some of them there. So you've got Ease and Squeeze 'em, you've got the Lico, you've got Hedrek himself, you've got St. George and the Dragon, Johnny Jack, Father Christmas, the Green Man. They're all on there. So they're a lovely little, and I've drawn the cover of it, I think bottom right there.
Can you see my screen now as I've enlarged the cards?
I can see the screen. The cards look pretty small. I don't know if you can click on one card and make it bigger.
I need to change the view, that's all. Yeah. Let's have a look. I might have to just stop sharing that one. And I'll share a different screen.
Beautifully drawn and illustrated set, so that's available as well.
There we go. How's that?
There you go. Oh, it would be that one with the boobs on.
Very stylized boobs. I think we'll get away with that one.
Very stylized. So yeah, you get what I call the night and day version one of each card. So there's Dan. Night and day. What else have we got there? Now this is not even revealed until issue 4. So I would say
let's flick through that one.
Let's flick through that one. Green Man, obviously from issue 1.
Yeah.
Who else there? We've got St. George will possibly appear in issue 3.
Is this a crossover then, Laurence?
It might be. So we've got Boxhead and Pillowcase, 2 of my favourites there.
That's brilliant.
Well, we will see who they are in a later issue.
And that's the cover, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's a digital cover that I've drawn for the pack. It'll be a nice set, and I've thought a lot about what each card represents in its dark. There's an interesting couple of characters. I won't say anything about that one.
Okay.
That is not to be revealed until issue 4. There is Momus, of course, who we will find out who or what that is in issue 2. Hedrek himself, of course.
I like how Gabby's sort
given
of
a little
interpreted. I like her interpretation of Hedrek.
Well, I've seen several interpretations of Hedrek now, and it's always fun to see that. Who did we have draw him? We've had Gabby draw him. We've had David draw him. Chris Geary did a nice version of him. And also Simon did a version on the Hedrek website where he saw him as, I think, Mads Mikkelsen, which was kind of interesting.
Yes.
That
was really cool.
Well, actually,
it is nice. I did one. Mine was very much in the old sort of comics vein, very.
Yours was super hench. It looked like a sort of Buscema drawing. So
yes,
it went with a hench look, very chiseled jaw and massive shoulders. Shirt ripping.
Yeah, his shirt was ripping, wasn't it?
Hedrek part Hulk.
Yeah. Don't make Hedrek angry.
That's right. Yeah.
It's interesting actually, because the way David draws Hedrek is very sort of, he's got that thin chin, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's got quite a sort of delicate way about him,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's quite hard to capture that.
I think it is difficult. I wanted Hedrek to be quite a short guy, about 5'6", 5'7". And my brief to Dave was I wanted him to look like a slightly harder version of Reece Shearsmith. So that's what I was after. I think I just watched In the Earth with Reece Shearsmith as that nutter in that folk horror story by the director whose name I forget now, but I love dearly, who wrote Kill List, who did Kill List. Oh gosh, I can't remember the director's name. But anyway, I saw Dan and Hedrek as Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton. So but David's got a nice sort of gentle sort of look. Well, not gentle look to him, but diminutive, intense. Yeah, which is great.
I really do like how he does him, and like I say, it's not easy to capture that. Having a go myself at drawing him, it's like you always fall into these tropes, especially if you're a comic artist. Yeah,
you can go a bit superhero-y, but yeah.
I mean, mine look more like Nick Fury than.
Yours was definitely more Nick Fury. Yeah. It's commenting it anyway, so yeah.
So for anyone who's just joined us, I notice a couple more people have joined the stream. There is a chance to win some Hedrek artwork by pledging on the Kickstarter. The artwork we've got there in the background, which is a beautiful piece of artwork, which I will try and show again, actually, because I think I've got it on the. The Kickstarter.
So what's so wonderful about this piece of art actually is the phenomenal way that Dave's managed to make it sort of 3D-ish. There's if you sort of share the overall picture, there's this wonderful reflection in the water, and it really does look like it's coming at you. But the colour as well is
it's lovely, isn't it?
Well,
let's have a look. If I go to the Kickstarter, I share that, then I can go to that, because that image is featured, and obviously we can see some more artwork from issue 2 as well there. I mean, I love this page, this panel, how he's got all the the reflections and everything. It's really nicely done, isn't it?
Well, he's even David put in the Midsummer Cafe sign there at the top. You'll see this repeated pattern of the flower of the lotus appearing. So there's loads of little Easter eggs that foreshadow other events. There that's of note for a later issue.
And I love these interview scenes. They're so
well.
good.
I mean, as you know, I do a lot of work on police interrogation, so it can make it's very, very easy to make these scenes a bit dull, since it's just people talking to one another. But again, it's another thing David does so well. A lot of emotion in those. There's the flower again, you see. So.
And I just love these pages. They're just so good.
Yeah,
so much expression in the faces, isn't there?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm getting distracted. And there's some of the artwork. Now that is a page that is up for grabs. That's an original page up for grabs, and this is what you can win, folks, when you pledge. So every physical backer will be put into a draw, and to win this full A4 sized painting of Hedrek by David. I just look, it's so delicate. All this in the background, it's just beautiful.
Very moving, very evocative. Yeah, it's a great piece of work.
And all of this,
isn't it, Shane? A4 piece.
Sorry, mate.
A4 piece, yeah.
It's A4, yeah. So it really, really nice piece of work, and there's so much going on in the reflection there. It's just so nice. And there he is. There's the man himself. Hiding behind another piece of work that is actually up for grabs on the Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, that's another original. It's another A4, beautifully illustrated, detailed, coloured piece.
I love that one. I didn't realise that was still available either, so I was really chuffed when.
I thought that had gone on the last one, but that's great. It's still there.
And some of the sketch cards that David's done there.
Yeah, I think David's done 20, and I've done 20.
Yeah, so there's there's a few up for grabs, and there's some of yours there. Who are these characters, Laurence? I've got to ask.
Well, we will see them in the next issue, which
is that right?
issue 3, but yes, there will be. Yeah, well, I will say no more of these animal type creatures in the next issue. I'll give you a bit of a clue. It also involves a sword dance.
Oh,
so for those of you that are familiar with the Wicker Man, you'll be a little bit more in the know.
I mean, anyone who's a fan of the Wicker Man is going to love this comic, aren't they? At the end of the day, that's...
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one of my favourite all-time films, so I've lent into that a wee bit as well. But yeah,
it is a great film. I've only watched it probably. It's one of those films where even though it's really good and you really like it, you don't have to watch it that many times. It's the images stay in your head, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But I think you do find on repeat viewing, just as when you've sort of forgotten how good it is, if you watch it again, you're like, yeah, I do know why I enjoyed this. This is a great film, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll have to watch it again. It's probably been about 10 years since I've watched it.
I think there's a rumor of a series being made out of it, which I'm not quite sure how that would work. But
really?
yeah. Although, of course, Hedrek's not as dumb as the police officer in the Wicker Man.
No.
Will he meet the same fate? We will have to see.
Well, hopefully not. I'm really starting to like Hedrek.
People are going to be murdered in horrible ways in future issues. So trust me, I want to make sure that our readers get upset. That's the whole point of it, in my view.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be some death. There's going to be some carnage.
It's not a comfy ride coming up, is it?
It is definitely not comfortable. No.
I mean, for those who haven't read part 1, I don't want to give too much away of that either, really, because there might be some people who are just getting on board. But it pretty much starts off pretty horrible, doesn't it?
It's pretty grim. Well, I mean, how much can we give away of spoilers to issue 1? But I don't know.
Let's just say Hedrek starts off from, at the end of issue 1, he's not in a good position, is he? Mentally or physically? No.
Well, and I think also, I can't think of any other story, certainly not in comics, where that happens to the hero, a male hero, what he undergoes by the end of issue 1. I can't think of any other. I could be wrong. Comic fans out there, correct me if I'm wrong. But what Hedrek undergoes in the first issue is, I think, pretty unusual for a male protagonist.
I think we've probably done something for the first time there in comics, Laurence.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I mean, obviously, my knowledge of comics isn't all encompassing, despite what some people may think. But as far as I know, that has not occurred to a male protagonist.
I don't think so.
In a comic.
No. It's pretty. It is pretty unusual. So, but yeah, I mean, if anyone out there is that's read it that knows differently, then it'd be great to know. But yeah, it's unusual. So yeah, he has a rough time in issue 1 and doesn't get much better in issue 2. So yeah, that's what you got to do.
It's how he deals with it as well, isn't it? That's the thing.
Well, that's it. Consequences, aren't there? If you're going to undergo something traumatic and significant, it's gonna leave its mark. So but we'll see how that plays out. And of course, we'll eventually find out how he loses his eye, what the significance of that is. There's loads of symbolism in it, I mean, each issue will have a totemic symbol. I mean, in issue 1 it was the card, in issue 2 it's the flower, in issue 3 it's the eye, and in issue 4 it will be the skull that we saw on the cover of issue 1. So throughout there will be these little peppered symbolic sort of elements to it. So it's all been thought through. It's all up here, Shane. I'm not with it.
I mean, I could tell, mate, just from the conversations that we've had and developing it and seeing the scripts ahead of time, and I can see you've put so much thought into it. I mean, just go off. Sorry, go on, mate.
I think I'm hoping that when we get to issue 4, people will feel a sense of completeness and resolution. There's nothing worse than sort of going through a story and thinking, oh, okay, that person obviously didn't know where the hell that was going. I think you've got to know. By the time you've written a full draft of issue 1, you want to know that things that are in that will connect to a sense of completeness for issue 4. So 3 is fully written, and I know you've read that, Shane. And issue 4 is pretty detail plotted. So we're nearly there. But that said, each issue will be self-contained. There's a mini narrative in each issue. So obviously, issue 1 we talk about Punch and Judy and Sean and that resolution, and then issue 2 we're going to move on to a character that was in issue 1, but we'll have a full sort of story told about their journey and so on and so on. Sorry, Shane, you were going to ask me something.
No, I was just going to say, just moving off Hedrek for a second before we finish the stream. You are working on lots of other projects at the moment, aren't you? Would you like to share some of those with the viewers?
Well, so I'm going to do my own Kickstarter next year called Saints and Sinners. So I've got 2 Saints and 2 Sinners stories that we're going to present in that. I'm very lucky to be working with Matt Soph on that, and Grant Richards is doing a cover for that, and I think I've managed to convince Luke Copsey as well to do a cover, so that's fantastic.
All right.
Gavin Noble's drawing the Whore of Babylon strip, which will be in it. So that'll be 4 issues, 4 separate stories that will all be resolved in 4 issues. And actually, that is going back. I want to release that next year because it's telling the story of a strip that I drew when I was 14, 40 years ago. So next year it'll be 40 years, will be the anniversary of a strip that I drew for Farron Short, John Short's brother, 40 years ago, about the story of St. George. So that's one thing. I've got a couple of things that I've pitched to both Pandora and This Comic is Haunted, which I think Dave and Joe are keen on. I hope, fingers crossed.
That'd be good. Big shout out to the guys at 77, by the way. Congratulations 100%. On, those 2 successes.
Yeah, so there's a couple of stories there. I've written one called Out There, which is about a young girl with a robot pufferfish whose granddad's sentient mind is in the robot pufferfish. God knows where that came from. What else have I got? And I'm doing I've just decided this morning I'm going to do another thing with Grant called Lost Goddesses. Well, that's the working title, but that'll be a short fella with some of Grant's artwork of some kick-ass female goddesses.
That's Grant Richards, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a great artist. Yeah.
Wonderful crosshatch thinking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm working with Matt now. I'm working with Grant, so that's great stuff. And I've done another little mini folk horror story that I've sent to Joe called Folk, Folke, about 4 gods trapped in a 1970s semi-detached flat.
Oh, brilliant!
So, that'll be a bit weird, featuring a cat. So yeah, loads of stuff going on. Quite busy.
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, mate, it's incredible how you're managing to get all this stuff. But I think I've said to you before, when you're in this mode, when you're really creative and the ideas are just flowing, it's really important just to get it out there, isn't it?
Well, the other one that I forgot to say as well, Chris Askham very generously accepted a 5-pager that I'm drawing with David Metcalf Carr called Sacred Heart as part of his Switchblade story. So I've got a 5-pager in that as well. So it's lovely to be accepted by that. And David's done great artwork on that as well. So about a tattooist and a boxer. So again, slightly random. But yeah, so busy. A distraction from my day job. So this is the stuff.
It's wonder you have any time for it, to be honest.
I know.
I mean, I love Switchblade stories. I've got all of those.
Yeah, me too.
So good.
Too. Yeah, wonderful art, lovely storytelling. So yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
fantastic.
Busy.
Well, mate. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me on the stream today. It's been a nice Sunday afternoon chat, hasn't it?
Sunday lunchtime chat.
Yeah, it's what you need, isn't it, on a Sunday?
Well, thanks for your hard work on it, Shane. I know it's a sort of unenviable position as editor, dealing with difficult people like me and David. So we're very tolerant, very patient of our very different ways of annoying you.
It's all part of the job, mate. It's all part of the job.
Yeah, I don't envy
I'm a professional cat herder.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Dealing with various different personality disorders. So yeah, fair play.
But it's lovely working with you and Dave. You're both so creative. It's very rewarding, and any quirks, they're worth it for what we get.
Yeah, that's very kind of you. I'm glad you're so tolerant. It's just as well.
And just to finish off, folks, if you want to win this artwork that's in the background here that we showed earlier, you can do by just pledging on the Hedrek issue 2, the Axe Forgets Kickstarter. Just get yourself onto Kickstarter, put in Hedrek, and you will find it pretty quickly. There aren't many comics with that name in the title.
And we're very grateful for all the supporters. We've had wonderful support and people are sharing it. So, it really does make a difference, particularly at the moment where money's tight. We're getting. It's just wonderful that the indie comic scene is thriving, and it really seems to be. There's so much good stuff out there. So I know people have got a lot to pick from. So we're very grateful for everyone that's pledged anything towards it. So yeah,
incredibly grateful. Yeah, thanks ever so much for all those who have pledged, and for those who've shared. It's, yeah, as Laurence says, it makes such a difference, because it's so hard to get out there these days, you know, with all the algorithms and all that messing with everything. So every time someone shares the project, it really does help us out a lot.
And I think you're at Nottingham with David is it next week?
I am next week. You know, I should have mentioned that. Thank you for mentioning that, Laurence.
Just remind you, gently nudging.
Next week, this on the 29th of October, myself and David will both be at the Nottingham Comic Con with copies of the first issue of Hedrek, and also David, I think, will have some artwork for sale. And obviously, it'd be great if you want to meet David. That's an experience, I can tell you. And also, I'll have copies of the new Dracula book, which is at the printers at the moment, but will be ready. I have had the proofs, and I can tell you, it's great, Laurence.
It really looks amazing. I mean, I saw the short video. It looks wonderful, doesn't it? So yeah.
And that's just the regular version. The Zoop campaign that we did some special extras, and it's got a spine. There's different covers. There's the text stories in there, all beautifully designed by Andy Bluer, who has done the design for Dracula for us. He's done a great job, absolutely great job. Yeah,
really, really cool.
So thank you again, Laurence, for joining me for the chat. Sorry, I didn't have a cup of tea ready.
My giant mug.
You got yours. That's all right then. That's good. Thank you for everyone joining us on the stream. Don't forget to pledge, don't forget to give yourself a chance of winning that beautiful artwork. And I will see you soon, Laurence. Sorry, I won't see you at Nottingham, but hopefully we'll see you.
Yeah, we'll catch up. Yeah. If I do get a chance to get to Nottingham, I will. But I'll be at Thought Bubble later on in the year, so definitely hitting that one, and hope to do some more cons soon.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. It's good to do a few cons in the year, isn't it? Just to keep in touch with people. I find it's really nice.
And keep it varied as well. I think
All right, then, mate. I will see you soon. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.